Hi, welcome to episode 2, which will be called Incrementalism and Woo. I intend to keep my Tony takes to 1 per episode, but I'm making an exception for this one, and you'll see why if you keep watching. First of all, incrementalism. Life is exhausting, especially these days. Life is very exhausting. There are temporal reasons for that, and there are spiritual reasons for that, but I think we can all agree that it can be very trying. And one thing that did not come out great in text form on my Facebook page was that I do not intend to in any way add to somebody's burden. In fact, my intentions are totally the opposite. I'm trying to be helpful, not to be a hindrance. I remember early on, like shortly after I joined Facebook, and I already had the idea of only friending people that I knew in real life. I noted an inaccuracy of one of my friends, and this person, who was an active LDS temple recommending holding mother of children, somebody I knew from growing up, called me a very obscene name, like obscene, like not just derogatory. It was actually sexual and obscene. And she still hasn't apologized to that, by the way. She's still on my friends list, but she's never apologized. And I sometimes think back on that and I think, wow, where did I go wrong? Because I assumed that she would know, hey, this is Tony talking here. I care about you. And I care about you enough to tell you when you're getting something wrong. And she took it as me putting her down or talking down to her or whatever. Anyway, please know that's not my intention. My intent is to be accurate and to be helpful. If at any time you think that I've got something just totally wrong, point it out to me. Because when I'm wrong, I admit it and I change. Anyway, so incrementalism. That's my first Tony take. We don't have to do things all at once. We don't have to think in a binary way where we either do things perfectly or not at all. We can take things in baby steps. We can do things a little at a time. It's a very important concept. We can be a little better today than we were yesterday. We can be a little more active. We can be a little more spiritual. We can be a little less emotional. We can just do small improvements. We have this sense of inadequacy that's built into us for, again, various reasons. But it's an illusion. We're not inadequate. We are totally up to whatever life throws our way. And as for the limitation of time, because sometimes we feel inadequate and we feel exhausted because we feel like we're running out of time. And here's the woo. Here's the part that is, it's just as accurate as anything I've said so far, but unlike the sort of stuff I could teach as a school teacher, this one is not something that is borne out yet by the scientific method. In other words, I can't prove it to you. I can't provide evidence, although I could tell you how to get the evidence for yourself. But anyway, you'll have all the time you need. All the time you need to become the person that you're supposed to be. You don't have to be worried about running out of time. Nobody does. Anyway, whenever I veer off into that sort of territory, you'll see I already showed you a woo alert, meaning that I am aware that I have now veered off into stuff that I would never have said as a public school teacher, because everything that I did as a public school teacher had to be borne out by the scientific method. I've used the scientific method to find the spiritual path that teaches me these things. But once you enter a truly spiritual path, you're no longer in the realm of human-made scientific process. And that's okay, right? Science is a temporary tool. The other stuff is forever. All right, well, I think that's it for today. Be well. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have questions or comments or disagreements or what have you. But I'm glad to be your friend, and see you in the next one.